Now, let's get into last night, man. Who did you feel like was the biggest winner of the draft? Biggest winner of the draft last night.
Yeah, obviously outside of the San Antonio Spurs. Besides them, for me, it was the Utah Jazz. There's a very good chance that Danny Ainge is, got access to a shared file in my notes on my phone because they scooped up 3 of my top 8 prospects in the draft.
Wow.
With their 3 first-round picks. I think that the shooting that they added, getting Taylor Hendricks, who shot 40% from 3, Bryce Sensabaugh, who shot 40% from 3, and Keontae George, who shot at about 35%, but the volume he was putting up was like Trae Young volume. So he was taking tough shots. They got some shooters, some shot makers, the defensive versatility that they can offer now with Hendricks and Kessler in the front court.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have any concerns about Sensabaugh and Keontae George defensively, you don't have to worry about it. You got 2 guys backing them up. They crushed it, man. They absolutely crushed it, in my opinion. I think they got the best value plays in the draft.
How would you describe Sensabaugh's game? 6'5" out of Ohio State, small forward. How do you describe him?
Man, mid-range master. He's the evolutionary DeMar DeRozan because he shoots threes. He shot 41% on 11 threes per 100 possessions. He basically, the shooting scoring season that he had was the only guy since 2008 who have been on par, and you could arguably make the case that he was better. Is Jamal Murray and Devin Booker. This dude is a real deal bucket. Like 40 points per 100 possessions. That's Zion Williamson territory as a freshman. The skill level off the charts. Now, one of the reasons that he slipped is because he had 2 knee surgeries in high school. He had a knee surgery to end the year at the end of his freshman season that took him, I think he got cleared a week before the draft to actually start working out for teams. And there are concerns, he's a little heavy. He looks like a linebacker rather than a hooper. So, but he's dropped some weight and, they all do at this time of the year, right? Nothing to do but train, but he looks a little slimmer and he's going to have to continue doing that. But that's why he fell. Otherwise, this dude was a lottery pick most likely. So they took a guy that they felt like has a real chance to be a lock to be an NBA player and potentially, in my opinion, be a top 5 player in this draft if he stays healthy and takes his conditioning seriously, because his offensive bag is, there's nothing really you could do when he gets to a spot. He's just going to get to a spot and shoot it.
Who would you say is your biggest loser then of this year's draft?
Biggest loser, man. That's a tough one. I feel like a lot of teams did pretty well, but I like this draft, man. I don't know, like I think the teams did well. Like this was a deep draft, so it's hard. The Nets. I know that'll make you guys happy. I didn't like the Nets draft.
Hey, Knicks fans might say the Knicks for making us go through the whole damn draft with no pick, not even a second round pick.
I mean, they had the 21st and 22nd pick. They took Dariq Whitehead, who was a potential top 5 guy coming into the year. I was never a huge fan because I thought he settled for tough shots that he didn't have to touch to make consistently, and he was just like a bigger, stronger guy in high school, which really helped him. He played at Montverde, and he was a part of those Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren teams since he was in 8th grade. So he had that pedigree, but, I felt like that almost added to the legend rather than, was something that actually played out. He was injured this year. He's now had 2 surgeries on his foot, and the Nets doctor did the surgery, so they obviously felt comfortable with the recovery process. But he did shoot 40% from 3 this year on limited volume. So if you're getting a guy who's going to shoot 40% from 3 in spot up situations and maybe can attack a closeout, then I think you might have got a player. If you expect him to be the guy that we thought he could be coming into the year, I think you might be disappointed. Then Noah Clowney, he's not going to help you right away. He was on that Alabama team with Brandon Miller. He's a hypothetical guy. Like if you just watch the highlights, you see him knocking down threes and the shot looks good, but he shot 27% from 3 and like 65% from the free throw line. He gets in foul trouble a lot because he's just raw and young. I like him. I thought it was a little early for him, but I think there was value on the board that could have been had. And I think they reached for those 2 guys, even if they might be okay players, but I think, they left value on the board.
I mean, the winning country might have been France, man, because they continue to add NBA caliber players into this pool. And you look at the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, Wembanyama was the lock there for them since the lottery ended. But then they also get Sidy Cissoko out of G League Ignite. What do you think about his game and what he could bring to that Spurs team?
Yeah, I love Sidy, man. I broke down film with him this year for No Ceilings. He's got a great personality. Like, he's going to be one of those guys where all of his teammates just absolutely love him. He's big, like 6'6", 6'7", long wingspan and thick. So like, he's young, he's going to put on weight with that frame. He could really pass the ball. It really shows in transition. I think he was second in the G League in dunks this year. So when he attacks the rim, he is ready to throw it. He will put you on a poster. And it's funny, when I asked him about it, he kind of had this like childlike whimsical answer. Like, he just has fun and enjoys the game. He seems like a guy that Pop is going to love developing. I think, I don't think he's going to contribute next year. And he's probably going to spend more time in the G League, but definitely, an interesting guy to put around Victor and to help him maybe feel, comfortable as he, moves into San Antonio.